we're just doing all the things. Yay! Okay, let me move myself out of the way. Okay, welcome!
Thank you!
Let's introduce our beautiful, badass businesswoman. We have Miss Sarah Swain. She's a business strategist, speaker, entrepreneur. Sarah can help you create new streams of income so you can have more choice, independence, and freedom in your life. And she is the founder of Monetize Your Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
This is fun.
So
Thank you
fun.
for coming. This is amazing. Yeah.
So exciting. Okay, so we would love for you to share how you got to where you are now. Like, who are you? How did this all evolve?
Which version of me do I share?
I know, and you're probably sharing this a few times.
No, you know what's interesting? I was doing a podcast earlier this week, and this question came up. It's like, how do I simplify this response? I would say that there's probably 2 to 3 stages to this. I think my first wake-up call that I experienced was when I was in the world of corporate. I was working for a big Canadian retail pharmacy chain, and I had ended up with this accidental retail career that I certainly had not forecasted for my life. It's not what I envisioned my adult life to be, but I was doing all the things that made me successful on paper. I had a really good career, phenomenal paycheck, benefits, pension, dental, company car, paid vacation, a home, a husband, a dog, a fence.
I was going to say, where's the fence?
I had a fence.
Was it white? Was it white?
No, I could have painted it though.
What color was it?
It was just wood.
Okay.
It was
I
wood,
like that, all
I had
natural.
I had a wood fence, and I was utterly miserable. And, you know, I was the person that kind of kept jumping from career to career, hoping that a newer job or a newer role or another promotion or another organization was going to make me feel better. And it would. For about 3 months, I'd be excited about something new. Then I would get settled in, and that would go away again. And so by my early 30s, I felt like I was having some sort of midlife crisis, but I'm like, I think I'm too young to be experiencing this. Like, why why can I not figure out how to feel satisfied in my life? And it wasn't until I asked myself, you know, if I were to be on my deathbed and look back on my life, would I be able to say that I had a successful life? And even though I had all the quote unquote successful things, I didn't feel successful. So how then, the question became, how do I feel successful? What would actually lead me to have a successfully lived life? And then all of a sudden things like play and laughter and just more fun and more time and more freedom to do the things that I wanted to do when I wanted to do them. Because I couldn't figure out why, as a grown adult, I had to ask for permission to have time off. It made no sense to me.
Why do we do that?
It's weird, right?
It's like, is it the culture that we live in? Like, have that cookie cutter life that seems to be the way to do it, and then yet our hearts...
Asking for permission to take time off. And I understand there's obviously needs to be considered for the organization and gaps that need to be filled. I understand all of that, but I started asking, like, why do I have to work 5 days a week? Like, first of all, who made a week? Like, where did a week come from?
It's human made.
I got real existential there for a while. And why 40 hours a week?
Yeah.
Why do I only get 2 days off? I could barely recover from the other 5, and then I'm the last, second day off, I'm anxiety ridden because I got to go back to work the next day. And I was just like, what are we doing? Like, I just had this big worldly explosion in my brain. And so this misalignment kept growing more intense, and to the point where I physically could not bring myself to go to work anymore. And I went to the doctor, and he was extremely hesitant to allow me to have time off work. So he gave me 4 weeks. I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to have an eat, pray, love experience in a 4-week period of time.
Yeah.
And he gave me a prescription for antidepressants. which I didn't take. I said I need to go do yoga and meditate and read some books. Like, I need time in order to figure out what the heck is actually going on, because I know that this is a me thing. This is not a chemical imbalance that I need to have regulated by medication. So I took the 4 weeks. I was like, thanks, and went into my boss's office, and he says, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I got to do your performance review.
Oh my gosh.
So he sat down, and I'm sitting there with this note in my pocket, being like,
excuse me,
being like, I'm about to drop a bomb on you right now, because I was one of their lead performers in the office, and got a raving review. And then he says to me, just so you're aware, we have you on succession planning to take over for me.
Oh my gosh.
When I either retire or take on a new role. He was looking to potentially head back to Ontario. He was the senior vice president for this retail pharmacy chain in Canada, for Western Canada. And the guy, I saw the car he drove, and it was a company paid car. It was an Audi R8. And I'm like, here's that carrot dangling in front of my face again, being like, maybe I should just suck it up. And maybe if I get his role, then I'll feel better. But something came over me, and, you know, I signed my review. Thank you so much for appreciating all my hard work, but I'm going to take time off. And it was in the same conversation. And then I broke down. Poor man came and gave me a hug.
Let it out, sister.
Let it out.
Get it out.
I'm trying. I'm like,
do you want your water?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do not even drink this kind of drink. I'm like,
Oh,
Get the growler.
Get the growler.
you know what? This
growler.
is why it's like happening, right? The universe is like, you need to cough so we can show this beauty.
Yeah, they're advertising.
Advertising, right? Soon. Oh my god.
We'll just have some water.
Here, you can put it there.
Yeah.
Keep
Wow.
it there.
I was just getting my throat chakra.
Yeah, I was going to say throat
this.
chakras. I wanted to say something right
Clearly. Wow.
Oh.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, my boss gave me
Gave
a hug.
you a hug.
After I told him I wasn't gonna do the work thing anymore, and said I'm gonna take time off and we'll see how it goes. And within 2 weeks, I had decompressed so much that I was like, there's absolutely no way in any sane mind that I could go back into an environment that caused me to be this inflamed.
Oh god.
And so it was at the 2 week point. I said to my husband, I said, I can't go back. I need to quit my job. And he's like, cool, so what's your plan? I'm like, I don't know. Other than I know that I'm meant to do something different. I know that I'm meant to do something more. I don't know what that is, but I know that I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, but what is it? I'm like, I don't know.
What?
But like I could feel it, but I couldn't articulate it because I actually didn't know.
What did it feel like?
It felt like certainty for me. It was just a knowing that this is where I'm going. And I had this epiphany one night in a hotel. I was up in northern Alberta doing store tours, and I was working. I had been on the road for 8 or 12 hours, just crazy touring all over these remote locations. And then I had to come back to my room and build out an 8-hour presentation that I was giving to all of my locations.
Wow.
Was
my
this when you
region.
were with Winners?
No, this is when I was with a retail farm. They have me under a non-disclosure agreement, so all I
Okay.
can say is a
Okay.
Canadian retail pharmacy
Okay.
chain.
Got it.
Period.
Yeah, period.
Non-disclosed.
Yeah, when I left, I made a bit of a stink. They're like, can you sign this? I'm like,
Shit.
I'm like, sure, fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I had this epiphany one night in my hotel. I'm like, here I just busted my ass all day in a job that I hate. Now I'm back in my hotel room, drinking a bottle of wine, making this presentation. I'm like, can you imagine how hard I would work for myself if this is how hard I'm willing to work for somebody else?
Bravo.
And I was just like,
Boom.
so it was this certainty that I felt. It's like, if this is how I perform when it's not even my goal,
Holy shit.
what would I be capable
I
of
have goosebumps.
if it was my vision?
Sarah, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have goosebumps
That's
too.
so powerful.
So that was my parting ways when I said I'm out.
And that was the turning point.
That's the
I thought.
tipping point.
Yep.
Tipping
was my
point,
next
turning
question.
point, you know.
Yeah.
I love it.
That
was
was
a-
it. Good job, guys.
Let's high five you too. You know, this is what we're all about, this like empowering and love building bonds.
Oh,
Yes.
man. Yeah, so that was my leap out of corporate into full-time entrepreneurship. And
You didn't know what you were doing yet.
No, and this is where now what I do now in Monetize Your Mind is I help people understand the value that they have to bring to the table to figure out what they can then turn around and exchange money for value for. And so, because that was my process, and I didn't realize that that's what I was doing at the time, because I didn't know anything about digital business when I left my job. I didn't even have an Instagram account.
Yeah.
But that can
I thought-
happen fast.
I thought that was just for like the younger millennials, not the elder millennials. So I was like, I don't do Instagram. I'm a Facebook person.
Dude, you can't even call yourself an elder millennial.
I am an elder millennial.
But you're like not. Look at you.
My energy. My energy's not elder. My
You're
wisdom is.
You're just this next level spiritual
Well,
being.
I'm pretty sure you've
Here to
been here a
fuck
few
shit up.
times before.
I'm the wise millennial
Yeah.
with a Facebook account, but that's all I knew how to do. Like I
God,
knew
millennial.
nothing about digital business when I made a private Facebook group. It was just when Facebook Live was becoming a thing.
Okay.
Yes, that's
And
right.
I'm like, okay,
Let's
what do I do? But what I had to do is I had to really take inventory of the value that I had to bring to the table. And I talk about how we're so conditioned to curate resumes for employers.
Yeah.
And how we're like, okay, what do they want? And then how can I tailor the skills and experience I have in order to be appealing to them?
Right.
And so we're conditioned to know how to do that for an employer. But when it comes to turning the table
That's right.
and really giving yourself time and consideration and credit for the all-encompassing value that you have to bring throughout your lifetime of skills that you've built and experiences that you've had, to be able to say, hey, I actually have value here. What can I do with it? And so the value that I identified within myself coming from corporate were things like leadership and team building and helping people move towards a goal, helping people perform better, motivation and getting people to really like dig deep and sink their teeth into something that they're working towards. I'm like, I am
Meaningful.
a master at this in the world
Okay.
of corporate.
Yeah.
So how do I translate this into something that I can do on my own? And so that's what I started with. I started running programs that helped women, mainly at the time, to be able to actually move towards the thing that they wanted. So I started very much in the world of empowerment and, self-leadership and getting unstuck. One of my programs was called Unstuck Yourself. Getting unstuck from where you are so that you can actually figuratively move towards the thing that you want. And so that was my process.
Wow.
When I left corporate, was giving myself credit that the skills that I had in my corporate career, that time was not a waste for me. It was
No.
a beautiful birthing place for all of these skills that I was able to develop. But I had to give myself credit for the fact that they could be applied elsewhere and not just in the traditional workforce. And so that's how I started. Which was about 5.5-ish years ago now.
Wow.
I want to point something out because you're so wise within your own right. What I see actually happening is you getting in touch in your roots,
Yeah.
ancestral roots, because that's what we did.
Yeah.
We come together as what our life experiences were and what we can bring to the table.
Yes.
And I feel like that, like right now, we're so conditioned for the 9 to 5. That's the school systems, all the things. We're kind of trained and conditioned to
Training the kids.
Yeah, this is your white picket fence.
Yep.
This is what you need to work towards.
There's your
And
lunch
you're so rebellious.
Yes.
With your wisdom, your rebellion and wisdom, combine that together, you're fucking moving mountains.
Yeah.
And so this is now the unconventional, which is not actually, because it's the original blueprint.
This is the original way.
That's
of
right.
being. It's like understanding
Yeah.
what's the value you're bringing to your community.
That's right. I just got goosebumps again.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, going back to your course that was Unstuck, or what was it?
Unstuck Yourself.
Unstuck Yourself. What did you find was the biggest hurdle for people to get over?
Self-worth.
Ugh,
100% it's self-worth. It is horrifying how little we believe in ourselves, or how little we believe we're worth having something different outside of the norm that we have been taught.
This
that
is the
we're
conditioning.
Just kind of, this is what we can expect out of our life.
Yeah.
This is just kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
And anything over and above that, this journey that people have to go through internally in order to even just give themselves permission to have that thing. My coach always says the biggest thing that people have a struggle with is to just admit what they want.
You got it.
So just admitting that you want something different or more is hard, let alone the journey of who do I have to become in order to let myself have it. So it's less about strategic steps to go through to execute the thing. I think that there are people in the world who are gifted with business, and it's just logic and it's common sense. And it's just like, well, this is just business and we can just do the thing. But for the average person who doesn't have a lick of business in their body, but they just know that there's something else there that they want, that internal journey that people need to go through in order for them to be able to actually achieve the thing that they have their heart set on, that's the most underrated thing in the world.
Is that a rude awakening for your clients when you bring them to those terms?
Yes.
And how long is that process?
Different for everybody.
Okay.
Depending on, probably an infinite number of factors, but the biggest one being, what level of work have you done on yourself before you even set foot in the world of entrepreneurship? And
I love that.
even those who have done a significant amount of work may have done their perception of a lot of personal development work. Really just going to all the conferences and reading all the books and having all these profound moments. But what people end up realizing and coming to terms with is that they have become a master at intellectualizing what it means to be self-aware. So they're aware of all of these tools and they're aware of all of the inner workings of our brain, but the embodiment practice of it is what's missing. So they know a lot of shit about personal development, but actually putting it into practice in their lives is like, oh shit, this is where the breakthroughs actually start to happen. But that's the scary stuff. That's the confronting stuff. That's the shadow shit that people are like, no, this doesn't feel like what all this the flowery spiritual people online talk about all the time, right?
Yeah,
like,
that enlightenment. It happens after.
Way after you go through the darkness, then you can start the love and light stuff. But you got to go through some shit.
And it still comes up again.
It doesn't stop.
Away. It never will.
No.
As you evolve and raise the ceiling and you punch through, there's another level.
Yes.
There's another you
which isn't
to accept.
Really, it's not really talked about too much in like the hierarchy of.
No.
It's truly not.
Especially with business.
Well, and you talk about students who pay so much money for schooling. And all they are is book smart. They don't even know how to fucking put it out on paper and actually live it.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's I think the breaking point right now in our society is that we have so many people who are so intellectual. They're so in their heads. They don't have access to their heart. They have no idea how to even understand how they feel about something, let alone how to let that feeling guide them to what they want. All they know is that they probably don't feel very good because they don't recognize that they're living outside of alignment. But they know a bunch of shit. And they have a bunch of practical skills that can be applied into the systems that our society is built on right now. But God forbid you actually be like, but I really feel like I want to be doing this over here, and it makes no logical sense for them to make that move. That's where they can't break out without doing that radical inner work. But you got to be a willing participant in order to do that. You can't force someone to become self-aware. And that's now, fast forward where my joy comes from helping people go through that experience that I basically reverse engineered, deconstructed. That's how Monetize Your Mind came to be. Regardless of what type of business a person wants to start, there's a fundamental framework that people can follow to understand the value you have to bring to the table and how that can then be applied to the marketplace. But this is what people are struggling with is, well, that doesn't make sense. But that's not how we're supposed to do things, or that's risky, or it's irresponsible. But to me, the real risk is staying in a life that doesn't feel good for you. And how, if that's the case, then how can we say that that's responsible
Oh, I love that.
on any level? How
And here we are, we're led by pharmaceuticals for the Band-Aids for the illness that we had because we were not living in alignment.
Yes. Just like me. Going to be like, I'm not okay in my workplace. They're like, I don't know if we should give you time off because we'll just give you an antidepressant first. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, if you don't give me time off, I'm going in there and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get fired because I'm a loose cannon now. Like, I need
You're done.
time. I don't know what the hell this looks like. But that was the first go-to. It's like, you're not happy. We're not going to get to the root of why. We're not going to get to figure out if you're living an aligned life. We're just going to give you a pill. Yeah. And then go back to
and
work
numb
when
your
you're
shit.
feeling better.
And just be numb.
And just be numb. Don't feel anything.
Well, this is why I asked you in the beginning, like, what that feeling felt like.
Yeah.
Because I think we try to use way too much logic.
Yep.
And we're kind of designed right now. I mean, so many people are lost in that process. So even in my life, I've had we've had so much success in the podcast because we've been intuitively moving forward with the steps necessary to get to where we are now.
And being in alignment with ourselves is the biggest.
Literally, that's the only how we got here. It was not logical.
No.
There was no logic behind it.
No.
It was literally that innate knowing that that just
that
feels
feeling.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a resistance and if it doesn't flow, it just doesn't fucking go.
Yep.
Like, period.
Yep. And that's what people are facing in the world of digital entrepreneurship. So I came into the scene probably when things were really starting to heighten, where people are like, oh, like I can work from anywhere. And that's kind of when the hashtag laptop lifestyle and hashtag work from Bali, like that was like all the rage when I was coming into the scene because we were
How
all
long
starting
ago?
2017-ish.
Oh, okay.
2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of a sudden everyone's like, wait a minute. What do we do here in order to do that? We're seeing all this stuff on social media of these people living these lives and I'm like, why am I
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
But I got a car.
What the what?
Why am I auditing pharmacies right now when I could be? Yeah, so it was.
I want to go on the beach.
It was bizarre, but that was when I came into that whole industry. Was when it's almost like there was a collective questioning that was happening, and so many people were tapping into it. But the problem is because we've had this surge of entrepreneurs realizing that, holy shit, like I can actually literally do whatever I want with my life. That is a fact. And more people are realizing that. But to your point, people are trying to think their way through it.
Yeah.
They're trying to come up with the perfect masterful plan to get from point A to point B. And you can do that, but you're probably going to give yourself way, way, way more hardship than is necessary.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because it's out of fear. It's like, if I don't follow this plan, then it might not work. Because we don't know how to trust ourselves as a society. So when you guys are like, this feels like the next best move for us to make, and lo and behold, it's friggin' working for you, like that's the strategy.
That's
Weird.
That's I love that.
The strategy.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we promote self-love, self-care to the fucking depths of the earth.
Yeah.
Because that's where that intuition gets heightened because
And
we're
you're
learning
creative.
to trust. Yeah. Bringing out that childlike energy, getting ready to be adventurous. Go ahead.
Totally. Question. So as you were switching and unraveling and questioning and like, who am I, and the whole antidepressant thing, taking that break, then you've taken that leap of faith and you're in a different direction. can we kind of talk about what was happening to you, like physically and emotionally, when you were kind of peeling back that onion from that change?
It's interesting because it's like I found a whole other fucking onion that I needed.
A whole other onion.
A whole other onion.
Fuck the existing one.
Right? It's
Oh
like,
my
no,
God.
we're gonna just start peeling back something entirely new, because what happened, I had changed my career is what I did.
Yeah.
But the same thing happened again.
Okay.
Where I was like, oh, why am I not enjoying this? Why am I not loving this? Because like I'm working for myself.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the things right. I have this freedom lifestyle that everybody has been raving about and you see on the internet. I'm like, that's me. I'm doing the thing. But I wasn't doing what I loved. I was doing what made sense.
Okay.
And so I had to go through this whole other journey of the exact same thing, only in entrepreneurship. So it was no longer, how the hell do I get out of corporate and become an entrepreneur? Now I was the entrepreneur. I was like, there's still something.
It's a different milestone.
Yep. It was just, I hit another level and I was like, well, I got to figure this out now. Because
What the
inside
heck?
I was like, what now? Like, what the fuck?
You're like, I just did what I was supposed to do. Like, shouldn't I be there now?
Shouldn't I be totally enlightened?
Yeah. So
should
so
be
that
floating.
next layer for me was, it was like the beginning stages of actually understanding what authenticity meant for me. So I had a wonderful community of women. It was very hugely based on women's empowerment. Yet I felt like I didn't belong in my own community. And I was like, uh-oh, like what's going on here? So that was, I would say, the realization was starting to happen for me by late 2019. So I had been kind of in the scene for coming up on 2 years. I was like, why do I not feel at home in my own business, in my own space? Like there just wasn't that sense of inner peace where I could be around everyone and feel just like this, just chilling with a couple of people.
No shoes on.
Yeah, I don't even have
feet up.
shoes on. It's like whatever. Just met you guys like a second ago in Calgary, and it's just, it's just easy, you know. Whereas I felt like I had to build myself up all the time, and then I'm like, this is a familiar feeling. Where when I would go to work in corporate, I'd be like, all right, let's put on the bullshit figurative mask. And then at the end of the day, take this shit off so I can decompress.
Go cry in the corner.
Yep. Drink my wine, eat my chips. Like that was just, and I'm like, this is the same feeling.
Shit.
My husband asked me, he's like, why are you putting yourself through this again? And I'm like, that's a great question, honey. I don't fucking know. Because I hadn't made the conclusion yet that, I'm not myself. This is why I'm surrounded by a bunch of people who aren't representative of who I actually am. I didn't made that connection yet. It wasn't until 2020 hit. And all of a sudden...
Carpet rip. Whoop.
Whoa!
Excuse me, guys.
The woke movement.
Right.
All of a sudden made me realize I had no idea who I was. I was like, if it is this easy to scare me into some sort of compliance and scare me into doing things a certain way or else, then I literally heard a voice in my head, and it said, Sarah, you don't even know who you are. And that was existential crisis number 2. Yeah. So I'm in this phase now, but I'm in the confines of my own creation instead of I'm just stuck over here in this corporate thing and I got to figure out how to not do this anymore. It's like, I'm like, but this is mine. I created this. So I ended up creating this community that I knew damn well at the time, if I had have spoken my truth,
Oh, damn.
would have annihilated me. I wouldn't have been
Is that
accepted.
annoying, or was that a logic mindset?
No, it was a feeling.
Okay.
I was just like, I'm not safe here. I'm not safe in the very community that I created.
Shit.
It was just masked.
It was just masked.
The whole thing.
I've
Because I
seen
was
this
masked.
before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I imprisoned myself in my own brand,
Yeah. Yeah.
is what I did.
And there's no sustainability in that. Maybe
No,
for
because you'll never be able to do all the right things.
no.
There will always
No.
be that next thing that the
They're going to be waiting for.
they're waiting
wanting.
for you to respond to. They're waiting for you to do.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you to say something about.
Yeah.
And it's like, you literally can't do that for the rest of your life.
Hell no.
I did it for about 6 months,
Okay. I was
and I'm
gonna
like,
ask.
I can't do this. Like I just,
Wow.
I can't. And this was also simultaneously where I was starting to question the pandemic stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So there was like all this stuff going on in me, and then I was starting to look at the outside world.
Mhm.
The economy was the first thing I saw, because everything I see is through the lens of the economy, through the lens of business. And when I saw businesses being ordered to shut down, people losing their jobs, I'm like, yo, people don't know how to create their own economy. This isn't good.
Not good.
We're relying on something outside of ourselves
That's right.
to provide for us. I'm like, this is a problem. But I wasn't strong enough at all, not even remotely close to being strong enough in 2020 to be able to hold the type of empowering container that I have now.
Babe, I don't think anybody was.
No, I think we're all just
I
gonna
think we all
low-key
kind of
closet messes
Yeah,
in
like,
2020.
give me fuck the bottle, give me the box.
Yeah, seriously,
Like,
just hose.
yeah.
But yeah, that was, yeah, so coming off of 2020 and going into 2021, that was really I was in the thick of an awakening. Not just an awakening to the world and realizing that the majority of what I thought was true about our world
Yeah.
was a lie.
Yeah.
It was the same thing was happening on the inside of
Yeah.
like trying to figure out what part of me was a lie that I was presenting
Yeah.
and what was actually my truth. Yeah. So it was
Good
just
for
some
you.
dark fucking
Yucky.
nights of the soul.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously so many of us experience this, but being that person in everyone's life where we're the wackos questioning things. And so then there was like en masse rejection happening
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So 2021 was like my pit of hell. It was just like I'm like, let it fucking burn. Like
Yeah.
I was like, this
Wow, Sarah.
is yeah. So 2021 was when I
Fuck.
started speaking up,
Yeah.
being like, I'm not
Enough's
cool
enough.
with what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And 2022 was really when I started to embolden myself again. So it's like I had to burn everything down,
Yeah.
including my old business, my old community. I ran a publishing house. That was another one of the businesses that I constructed. I published over 120 authors. Like
Wow.
I had so much stuff going on, and I'm like, I'm not safe here.
Shit.
And so I had to let it all go, and trust myself to start just what feels right now,
Yeah.
and go. What feels
Yeah.
right now, and go. And none of it made sense.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until 2022, 2021, 2022, when the workplace mandates took Canada by storm. And that was what this inferno in me lit, because I knew how to monetize my mind.
Okay.
I'm like, I have done this. So all these poor souls who were in these careers,
Yeah.
who were doing something out of absolute dread,
Yeah.
something they didn't want to do because they were threatened with their livelihood, because their livelihood was confined to one thing outside of themselves that they had no control over. And I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. And I'm sitting in my living room in my home being like, yes, you fucking do.
We all do.
And it made me realize that, you know, I'd been on the side of my other business. I'd been doing business coaching, helping people start stuff online. And then I realized, I'm like, I need to really step in here, because this is so, like, this was like the biggest mirror of, this is how big this problem is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of the workforce and people feeling so stuck in this, and I know that feeling, and people not knowing how to give themselves credit for what they're capable of, credit for the value they have to bring to the table, all of it. It made me go like mental watching all of this happen. And out of nowhere one day,
Baby.
I know. I think like this is a good thing. You're helping me clear some throat shit
That's
here.
good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
coming
thinking.
so good. Oh yeah, I'm like you're just so strong, and it's like let's just open this up. I'm gonna
Good.
cough again.
That's okay. It's a cue for me to drink some water too.
Turn that ladle around.
Good thing we're
Just kidding.
good thing we're raw and we don't care, and coughing is good. So that was actually another thing. People were just even afraid to cough. Right?
But that's just that was, I mean, going through the awakening of realizing how hard we'd been duped as a society to the point where we were terrified to cough in a
Isn't
grocery
that
store.
fucked?
Everything was like, this is why we are the way that we are in society. This is why we're so stuck, because everything has been pummeled into our thought process, and we're so just robotic about everything that we're doing. So when these mandates hit, I had this download. Don't know where it came from. Probably the same place that in 2020 said, bitch, you don't even know who you are.
It's your freaking
Most likely, yes.
Your higher self, your spirit team. They're like, come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
One of my guys was up there telling me, but Monetize Your Mind. It was just this, it came out of nowhere.
I was gonna ask you, like literally, where did that name come from? It's the sickest name.
Just a download.
It was just
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
And
Sarah.
it was instantaneous. We're doing this. I knew exactly what it was. I'm like, this is a membership. This is a business community. This is what we're doing. This is how I can help people at a ridiculously low cost. Like, get everybody in here so I can start teaching people the skills on how to monetize their mind so they never have to be put in this position again.
Bravo.
Freedom, choice, independence. Like, it was just like, go. And we hit the ground running. I said to my poor ops manager, Meeks, who I'm here with in Vancouver, she's like, fuck. Okay. Because, like, she knows as soon as I'm like, there's like this
Go
gloss
time.
that comes over my eyes, and I'm like, let's go.
Pupils dilate.
yeah.
She
so
was
much
the
in.
one that was helping with the
In Calgary.
computers
She's
in Calgary,
so
right?
awesome.
Yeah.
She's
She's,
the best.
like, yes, Sarah. Yes.
Shout out to Meeks. Yeah, she's always had my back and everything that I
fucking
create.
right.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
So with you're saying your team, was that her and then your husband and
Yeah, my gosh, we had a very eclectic mix of people, because I had like old business that was going, and then new business coming, and I launched a political education platform in 2022 to try and teach people about the federal political system.
Yeah.
So that was like a monthly
Yeah.
membership community that I created.
Which is beautiful because myself, I don't know shit about politics.
That's who I made it for.
Yes.
People like
Yeah,
you.
I don't know
That's what
shit.
Tiffany
but
was
I have
talking about this.
I have enough influence around me to help guide me through that, but I don't even try to be logical about it anymore. It's not. It's like it's a different language for me.
Oh, it's
where
crazy.
the work that we're doing
Yeah.
is so. I understand it to a fucking T. Like
It's a total juxtaposition to anything natural and intuitive. Like,
Yes.
politics is so.
it's banana land.
That's why we need you. 'Cause you're so
Yes.
fucking brilliant.
But then the same thing. I was like maybe 5 months into that, but I caught it sooner. I was like, I'm doing this because I think I need to, not because this is what I love. And I shut it down.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And it was like that was it was a very low cost, like $22 a month to come in that space, but it was creating a ton of revenue.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because so many people were coming into it, and I'm like, nope, and I shut it down.
I love that.
And it was just like, this isn't
And why?
my path forward. This
Okay.
is, I did it because I'm like, I need to try and save Canada.
Yeah.
It was an obligatory move. I had the skill set to do it. I was good at it, but it was like, that doesn't mean you need to do it, Sarah. And I was like, right, learning faster.
Yes.
But you
Good
built.
for you.
Don't you think that was a huge stepping stone into creating the brand of who you are and what
Absolutely.
you stand for?
I believe everything that I've experienced happened for me to experience.
That's right.
So there's no, even in my corporate days, even in the business that I built that I ended up not even fitting into, like,
Yeah.
I have no regrets there,
No.
because without going through those experiences, I would never have been able to land where I am now with such certainty of who I am and like what my purpose is and how to show up without trying to, control everybody's perception of me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did when I first started my business. Like, I have a brand and I got to uphold this brand image, and this is what people can expect from me. And it's like,
no.
like, I will never do this again.
But you needed to do that at the time.
Had
like
to.
when COVID started, I felt like I was a little bit late, even though I wasn't. I was just so anxious to create a course to help people just love themselves more.
Yeah.
And it was only 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But it was so near and dear to my heart. Like, I was literally about to explode if I did not do this.
Yep.
And I actually had about 10 people just every week would show up. They're like, give me more, give me more. Brought in people that were in their own expertise, like nutritionists, talk about sleep, stress, all the things. And there was just so many takebacks from that. So I think just understanding what's happening economically and, you know, within our government space is really important too, because the fact of the matter is we're all paying taxes one way or another. Where the fuck is that going?
Nowhere good.
How many taxes are you paying? Like,
a lot in Canada. Everyone's like, Canada's so great, it's free. I'm like, no,
Whoa.
the fuck it is not. You have no any idea how much we pay in taxes.
brutal.
But that's why we need people like you to freaking break this shit down.
That's right.
Yeah, seriously.
That's right.
Because most people have no idea.
No.
They have it's just a mask, another lie.
Yeah, it is.
Just
I remember
slap it on.
the last pay stub that I got from my corporate, not pay stub, the T4 to file my taxes.
Right.
I looked, because it was my highest income year,
Okay.
and I looked at my deductibles, or whatever. Are we glitching the matrix?
Yeah.
We are.
That's cool.
That is cool. But that's why we have backup.
That was something that was kind of...
That was great.
Bill C11.
Yeah.
Play.
See? We know.
Yeah.
Okay? We've got Sarah here.
We know.
You're like, I'm keeping an eye on you bitches.
Yeah, I
you
love
guys
that.
are about
She's
to
like,
fuck shit up.
This is what it's all about. Continue.
What was I saying?
About your T4, and then the last one that
so all the money that got deducted off of my pay stubs, like throughout the year, was showing on my T4. I was like,
Ouch.
so the amount that I lost to taxes and EI and CPP and all these things that just get taken off was more than the average income of your average Canadian.
Ew. That's so crazy.
So I was like, we have all these people who are living at this
that
income line, and you took that from me.
Yeah.
What?
Yet our country continues to break more and more every year. It's just one of those things where, you know, we're born and raised in Canada, or people come to Canada and they're like, oh, everyone says that this is the best place to be. And
It's the most beautiful.
it's beautiful, the
But-
people are wonderful,
Mhm.
but when we really look at the inner workings of our institutions, it's like, oh,
Wow.
we are busted up something fierce here.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's why we chose to incarnate here
Yeah.
to
so
do
we can
this,
fix
so
it.
we could fuck shit up.
Yeah.
This is what the whole plan is.
Yeah.
And I always like to look at the positive, and it's like the same thing with you, with all these little things that have come across your life and what you've learned. It's like the same thing with COVID or this whole pandemic. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
You just rocked everybody.
Yes.
I was quiet from 2019, and I sat and I went in.
Yeah.
And it was like, I deconstructed everything of who I was and what I thought this whole world was. I saw it so clearly. I was grateful. I was like in this compound with my parents and my grandparents, and everybody was able to hold space and become aware to it all. So it was all like this wicked compound of people that are just like, whoa, we've been living a massive lie. And it was like our podcast. We have episodes where we were talking about real crazy stuff that was happening. They would just be canceled. Down. It was like, this was when people were like you, where you're finally seeing clearly and you're like, I need to say something about this. But it's like, how can you say it? Because everyone's looking at you like, you're like, put your mask on. What are you doing? You're disgusting. Like, blah, right?
And we were just wiped off the internet anytime. So the perception of the average person looking at their social feeds, they would see one of us.
That's right.
And we would be the wacko in
Yeah.
comparison to everybody else showing up on their feeds who is agreeing with not just agreeing, but also promoting it and promoting people to then move against people like us. So like you'd see one of us come up on an average person's feed, like, oh, there's one of those crazy, there's poor people.
Yeah, like,
Those
oh my
poor
gosh.
people, are they
Do
okay?
they feel guilt
You know,
and shame about that now?
And when you look back at this, like, even the name was branded and trademarked. The name for this whole thing, like,
It's a business.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, like, it's like we all saw, like, this is a fantastic business, but man, are you fucking shit up, like, really? But thank you. So the whole point of this is like, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being who you are.
The gratitude, honestly, that was something that my God, when I got myself a therapist, end of 2021. When I was really like, this is my tipping point. I'm either going to go down like a bag of rocks, or this is where I start to come out, because I'd started speaking out. Everybody in my life like just vanished. That's what like nobody. My family thought I had gone berserk. You know, people just stopped talking to me, and I was like, feeling kind of alone right now, and in this process of, you know, all this introspection, trying to figure out who the hell I even am and what is going on with my businesses. What do I do? Like, it was just such a collision of everything going awry in my life. And so I put my ass in therapy, and shout out to my therapist, Sarah, who I'm still working with today.
Amazing.
She was just, she helped me recognize, you know, there is, without all of this happening, I would not have had the opportunity to become this version of me. I wouldn't have, I don't know what I would have had to go through, and how long of a period of time I would have had to continue to be smashed in the face with a figurative 2x4 in order to come to the same space, because this was so like cataclysmic. It was just so rapid that it felt violent. But it was fast.
It was fast.
And it's like, oh, it's all of a sudden you're like rebirthed.
Exactly.
And
so
you're like,
painful.
oh shit. So
So
because there was so much that happened all in the same period of time, so many terrible, horrifying things happening in the same period of time, it got me here so fast.
it was like 10 years of counseling in 1 minute.
At least
just
10 years.
convoluted.
I've been using 20. I've been like, this is like 20
Yeah.
years of life and personal development and hardships and heartache and grief and loss. 20 years worth.
But you look so youthful.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm
I
asking.
got gray hair now.
Oh, and can we like talk about that
Yes.
for a minute? Because this is, first of all, your hair is beautiful.
Yes.
Next level.
Thank you.
Do not change it, please. 'Cause-
I'm not.
Okay.
Everyone on Instagram is going to find out later today that I'm
Yes.
not dyeing my hair, because everyone is freaking out on my Instagram right now. I'm not doing it.
Yay,
No.
Sarah!
I'm just getting it cut.
Yeah.
Styled.
And
No,
like
I
you have
love-
streaks. Like it looks like you've got blonde highlights in
Yeah.
the front of your hair.
No, it's just white hair.
Yeah.
You
It's
see it on the camera?
it. You know, you can
Yeah, you
see
can
it.
see
It's
it.
beautiful.
But I've literally, for the last time I went to the salon was August of 2020.
Oh my gosh, really?
job.
Yeah, so if you actually were to straighten my hair right now and look at the back, it would be like,
Oh my gosh.
because I just go
Like
in
me.
I go in the bathroom. That's what I
You
do.
just cut it?
I put it into 4 little pigtails.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, you're one of those.
No, I'm the same because
I was
I'm doing
going
the
to-
same shit.
And I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
that
how you
looks
do
about
it.
right. I did the TikTok thing in like 2021. You know, when everyone was
Oh,
pulling the
put the-
ponytails.
Yes.
I gave myself layers. It worked.
As long as it was far enough forward, you're fine.
I know. I saw people end up with like mushroom cuts.
Yes.
Out here, yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
I'm going,
awesome.
I'm going
Good
to the
for
salon
you.
for the first time in 3 years.
Wow.
This part of it just everything fell away.
Getting a head massage and your hair washed.
But I want to mention about like the whole beauty part of it is
Yeah.
the reason why people do that is to get to feel youthful.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that inner work and you lay away all that stress and compounding effects off our shoulders, yet all of a sudden 10 years gets knocked off you naturally.
It's so bizarre.
So
It is.
bizarre.
But they go hand in hand, like these personal crises that we go through. The more you get to know yourself, actually, not just here's the, you know, surface level material things that I enjoy and appreciate in life. It's like, but what do you actually value. Like, what are the hills you're willing to die on for things, and like what are you willing to go down for? Like, really knowing yourself at that level, it puts everything into perspective. And that's why all of a sudden it wasn't that, I joke with my husband all the time, I'm like, boy, I really let myself go on you, didn't I, the last few years? Bless him, he thinks I'm the most beautiful thing.
Well, you
in
are.
the
He's like,
world.
you're my goddess.
Yeah, he really does think that. I'm like, bless you, he was lucky if I shaved my legs. Like, I was just like,
I love it.
I'm out. Like,
Wild, full wild.
I just didn't care anymore. It wasn't that I didn't care about myself, because I had never cared about myself more.
Right.
That's what was interesting. It's like, I'm unconcerned
Good.
by
Fuck, I love that.
The outside
the
noise.
outside stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it just became so utterly irrelevant. It felt so trivial in the grander scheme of, becoming aware of myself, becoming aware of the world. And I'm gonna sit here and worry about what fucking blush to put on my cheeks. I'm like, I've got bigger fish to fry today.
100%. I love it.
So yeah, this is the first time I've seen my natural hair since I was 15. So
Oh, I'm obsessed.
And
it's a couple decades
your
ago.
body loves it, the toxins and all of the shit that comes with that.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
natural is the way.
Yep.
Love
All
it.
natural.
Amazing. I would love to dive deep into your amazing conference and retreat
Yes.
that you have coming up. Tiffany and I are going to be there.
Yay!
And
Yes.
we cannot freaking wait. It's like a birthday present to myself. So
That's how I look at it.
it's
too.
just
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
let's dive into MYM Conference, the resort, and everything that you guys are offering and all the things.
Thank you so much for giving me the platform to talk
Oh,
about that. That's
yes.
like so special for me.
Well, you're so special.
Thank you. The conference was kind of the inevitable with the MYM brand, because Monetize Your Mind, MYM, birthed so hard and fast into this world, and it spread so fast because people felt it. This thing has its own energy source, with or without me at the helm. It's like Monetize Your Mind is just in the world now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become this like household name.
Amazing.
Within, it's just coming up on our 1 year anniversary
Ooh.
in June.
June what?
June 8th.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Infinity symbol, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a whopping year that MYM has been in the world, and it started as a business community membership. And I teach the fundamentals of business in that space. So before we were recording, we were talking about how there's no cookie cutter solutions to anything. And that, it doesn't make for sexy marketing on my part, because I'm like, I'm not going to fucking tell you how to do this. I'm going to help you understand what the fundamentals of business are, and then ask you 3 trillion questions so that you can understand what that means for you and what you are creating and what you are building. Like, because it's unique to everybody. Some people are building personal brands, some people are building business brands, some people are building brick and mortar, some people are building their profiles as a real estate agent. Like, it's so how could I be like, here's steps 1 through 30 in order to, I have to teach people to know how to be business owners. And so I teach the fundamentals of business in MYM. And so it turned into this incredible community of people with the most unbelievable hearts. And everybody's awake, so it's very safe for people like us to be inside and not have to worry about, is someone going to think I'm the crazy person? I mean, we talk about anything in there because everything is related to business.
Yeah.
Your business is an extension of you, so whatever you're unpacking, it's showing up in your business. So it's a very holistic container in that regard.
Yeah.
And we got lots of support in there. We've got mindset coaches, tech coaches, all sorts of things going on, community leaders. It's awesome. So it's become this entity, and
So good.
we launched a mastermind for people that wanted to go deeper and smaller, more intimate container. And the next logical step was we got to get everybody in the same room. And so, it was really thanks to Kid Carson for, hosting all his events, which is why I'm here in Vancouver right now. I've done his whole tour, and
So dope.
when I had the business that wasn't aligned with me in 2020, I had to cancel my 3rd annual event that I was hosting.
What?
Yep.
Really?
In the thick of the restrictions.
For the, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so I had to go through this massive refund process. Like, it was just such a nightmare. I'm
Oh,
I'm never
my.
fucking hosting events again.
Yeah.
This is a nightmare.
Dang.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
But
It's in alignment.
I'm like not even remotely close to the same person I was then,
Yeah.
right? But going to all kids events, I'm like, this is what I loved. Like, this is what it's about. And then realizing that, you know, the community that I have now is a reflection of me.
Oh, yeah.
I am so safe in the space with these people, which is not how I felt before. And so I was like, we got to do an event. Like, we just got to do an event. And
Yes.
it's going to be under the MYM brand, obviously.
Yes.
And I hadn't realized how much my vision had really been cast until I started mustering up such a serious set of ovaries and asking people to be like, hey, do you think you'd want to speak at my MYM event that doesn't exist anywhere other than my head right now, but we're going to just go for it. And, you know, I had been so grateful to be connected with people like Mark Groves, just through speaking truth. And
Oh, yeah.
remember the day Meeks messaged me, she's like, dude, Mark Groves just shared the post that you made. And I was like,
Yes!
oh,
I'm on the right track.
Now he's like one of my besties. I'm meeting him
Yes.
later tonight. Like, he's just, and Danielle Laporte.
Were you guys eating? No, just kidding.
She's so good. Oh my god, I was like, no.
I might just pop out
Oh
there.
my god, you're so
That's so
funny.
funny.
That was funny.
Danielle Laporte was huge when I was leaving my corporate career. Her book, White Hot Truth, had just come out, and I was like, didn't land. I was like, this is all about, like, it almost felt too esoteric for me.
What does that mean?
At the level. Like, it was too figurative. It was almost too spiritual for the level that I was at.
At that time.
At that time. But I loved
Well,
all
hello.
of her other work. So I read it again this winter after
Ooh.
we released our book, The Sovereign. And Danielle had found me through that book, The Sovereign, when we released it. And so she started following me on Instagram, and I'm like, ooh, this is a full circle moment here. Like, she was big when I was going through my stuff, and I was really relying on a lot of her work to, like, bolster up the confidence and get centered and all that stuff.
Oh my
Here
gosh.
she's found me through The Sovereign. And so then I'm like, you know what? This is a sign that I need to pick up White Hot Truth again. And I picked it up, and I was like, oh, this is what this book fucking means.
Yeah.
So I was reading it. I was like, I had to go through all this in order for this book to even make sense to me.
What the heck?
So I reached out to her and I said, I just want you to know, this has been my experience with your book. Call it 2018 versus 2022, 2023. And so we started, forming just an Instagram DM relationship like most people meet these days.
Yeah.
I put on my big girl pants one day and sent her a voice note. And
Yeah, atta girl. That's
she
the
said-
best way to go.
She said, absolutely, I'm aligned with this. Let's do it.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yeah. So I was like,
Sarah.
so heavily affirmed that this is a thing. Like, this is a real thing, that it's not just me. It's not even me. It's so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
This MYM monster that has been created, that people immediately understand what it is and what I'm trying to do. Because with the in-person event, we've all been to events, we know how powerful they are. It's like an instantaneous shift. It's a shift in energy. It's a shift in trajectory. It's not something that has to take 6-12 months in order to it's like you go in and then you're out and you're like, shit, we're
That's
on a
right.
new path, right? It's fast.
New timeline right now.
New timeline right now, immediately, as soon as that event is done. And that's what I love about events. And so, understanding the economic crisis that we're here in Canada to the tune of, like, I don't even know how many 900s of billions of dollars of debt our nation is in right now.
I was part of one of the questions I had.
Oh, it's a lot. Let's just say it's a
Yeah.
lot of money that we don't have in Canada. And we sold all of our gold several years ago, too, so we got nothing here.
But wouldn't they just keep renegotiating how the payment would be happening and then just printing more money and just
This is what they're doing.
raising
they're just
dollars? The same thing the
printing
US is
more
doing.
money,
Yeah.
raising taxes.
Yes.
Cost of goods go up, and it's ultimately
Just
Canadians.
a circle jerk.
It's
what we
just
like
a
to call it.
giant circle jerk.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
but the Canadians are not getting off. Like, there's no happy ending for us.
Oh my God.
Unless we realize that the moment we stop depending on the government to fix our economy and start recognizing that the economy, the true health of an economy, is actually at the hands of business owners and entrepreneurs. We are the ones that create money. We are the ones that put money back into the economy. We are the ones that create jobs. We are the ones that create work for other people to do so that they can get paid to do it. We're the ones that generate money to pay to people who then have more money to go out and shop.
Yeah.
Like, it's the entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so to me, there's this huge call right now. It's almost like this big like megaphone's going out to say it's time. So if you're an awakened and conscious entrepreneur, because we need the money to be in the hands of the people with the big hearts. That's how we shift shit. It's not going to be, even if we get a better government in place, we still need more good people to have more money.
Yeah.
And so this is exactly what the underlying purpose of this event is to have a very rapid transformation and realization that, oh shit, like this is up to us in order to figure out how to resolve this economic crisis that we're in. Because without solving this crisis, everything keeps getting more expensive. Everything keeps becoming more unaffordable. The more unaffordable things become, the more dependent people come. The more dependent people come, the easier it is to manipulate them. The easier
Keep you
it is,
under fear.
Boom. The easier you are to manipulate, you're under the thumb of the government. Whatever it is they need you to do, next.
Yeah.
So
we
how
don't
do we
have to live like that.
No, but that's up to us to reverse. Because if we're sitting here thinking, all of a sudden the government's going to stop doing this to us, like no, like that's never going to happen. So then, what is the solution? The average human being needs to understand the power of creating their own economy. And so that's what the event is all about.
Yeah.
And the kind of unofficial tagline for it is that the entrepreneurs of today create the economy of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose. I mean, there's so much awesomeness happening. We have amazing headline speakers. The venue is sick.
I am so
it's so
stoked.
good.
Yeah.
Have you guys been to Kananaskis?
No.
Oh man.
No.
I'm ready to be rocked, honestly.
It's gonna be equal parts like high vibe, high energy. Like day one is like we're raising the energetic frequency to as high as it could possibly go, and we're gonna hold it there all day.
Yeah.
And then the second day is all about, it's like, okay, we've got this big ball of energy and motivation and holy shit, I can do this. It's like, bring it back in.
Yeah.
Embody it.
Embody it.
Yeah.
Before you walk out this door, it needs to become a part of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to go home, you're going to get stuck in your regular routine. Maybe you might go back home to a spouse who doesn't get it, right? That's such a problem these days.
Such a problem.
What are you going to do when you leave that event?
Yeah. Are you going to go back to the cycle?
Are you going to go
or
back to the cycle?
Or are you going to go to your new life?
Or is exactly.
You know, Sarah, I'm just cutting off for a second because there's a really big shift that's happening, and I know that you're feeling this. We're all feeling it. People are at these breaking points of cycling into the old and staying on that old timeline versus this massive shift into the new.
Yeah.
And I feel like your event is going to be this massive shift where people are going to get it really quickly.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, shit, okay, I'm on, and go. Because like you said, all that other shit isn't going to change. But what can change is if you stay on the old earth, whatever you want to call it, or you're coming onto new.
Exactly.
And that's a fucking personal choice.
It is.
And then why you're here and what you're creating and doing is saying, hey, look at what you can do. I want to give you the balls, the ovaries to grab onto this and fly, because you don't need to be a part of this low frequency bullshit entity spell.
Yeah.
Let's take off the masks and get into your highest timeline.
And the thing is, when people think of, responsibility or independence or whatever type of like heaviness a person feels with, it's only me.
Yeah.
Because we're so programmed to feel safe in the hands of someone else, or in the hands of an employer, in the hands of a system of some sort.
Yeah.
So as soon as it's like, well, what if those things were all of a sudden not available to you? And this is speaking on the average person, right? There's always going to be a percent of the population who truly is dependent and needs to be supported in some capacity. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the average Canadian who is now accepting becoming more dependent simply because more things are being offered to them in the name of make your life easier, do the right thing. You don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. And slowly but surely, we're outsourcing everything. That and the disconnect to our intuition is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Because everything is, well, what are you doing? What do you say? What do you think I should do? What's the next best move? And it's like, oh my God. So the weight that people feel, like, what do you mean it's just me? Those are the people that I don't know if we'll ever see those people flip to this side of being excited about the fact that it's like, you mean I have the power to do all of this? Like, what? That's pretty rad. I only have to figure this out myself. I don't have to worry about, like, there's the people who are like exhilarated by that realization, and those are the people that are going to create the new earth.
You got it.
Is the people who are like, and this is where people get confused because they think, oh, well, I don't want to be independent to the point of I don't need anyone's help. That's not what independence means.
No.
Because we're actually helping each other more.
That's right.
In this new world that we're in. But we're doing it from a place of we're all independent.
That's right.
We're just helping.
We're just in it together.
Not because we're dependent on anyone else to be able to do something. And that's like the paradigm flip that they're either going to make it or they're not.
Exactly. And there's nothing we can do.
No.
It's all a free will choice, whether you jump on or not.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the ones that are kind of in that like middle are like, oh, there's something more. I'm like curious, and I'm like, oh, I feel that, and that heart coherence. Like you're so in your heart, and it's like that's why you've created this community because everyone else is in their heart. And if you weren't able to be who you are, nobody could find you. So we're able to find you. So thank you for fucking answering the call.
Yeah,
that's massive.
It's crazy. And I think even again when I was talking earlier about the surface level personal development stuff, I didn't understand what it meant to be in my heart. And I don't think I would have ever been able to get there by reading more books or memes. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, seeing 11:11 on a microwave somewhere. It's just like, no, I had to go through utter hell in order to realize what I'd never want to experience again. And it's like the only way to make sure that never happens again is to only make decisions from my heart. Yeah. Like, even if it doesn't make any sense. Like, it did not make sense for me to even do this conference because it is massive.
It is massive.
And it's a huge undertaking. I'm like, who the fuck is going to plan this thing? Like,
well, guess who's going to plan it? She's sitting right here.
Jesus.
Bravo. Yeah.
And all of a sudden people started to be like, hell yeah, I'm in, hell yeah. There wasn't the only person that said no, and it wasn't actually two people. They weren't even a no. It was like, holy shit, I would be there if I could. Africa Brooke. Do you guys follow Africa Brooke?
Don't know.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Well,
now we do.
Okay, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready for that next.
Where is the phone?
Yeah.
Africa Brooke and Brett Kissel.
Okay.
Our country star here in Canada.
Okay.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys your lives are gonna just
change.
Africa Brooke was the one that pulled me out of my woke trauma.
Okay.
In 2020, she's a beautiful Black woman in the UK.
Amazing.
And I found her blog. It was called something about falling off the woke wagon, or I'm totally butchering the name. But basically, like, her removal from this ideology. And at that time, I didn't think that there was any other way that we were allowed to think.
Yeah.
And she is all about self-expression and using your voice, and her work on Instagram alone gave me courage
Wow.
to be like, it's okay to use my voice. It's okay to express myself.
It's safe to be you.
It's safe. I'm safe.
Yeah.
The internet might not make me feel safe sometimes, but I'm actually safe.
Yeah.
I'm in my own home. I am safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was not safe, I was in my own home because I wasn't expressing myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't safe in my own body.
Yeah.
So it's just a perception thing, right? When we're terrified of the mob coming after us. But yeah, so I mean, she's been one of my absolute heroes over the last 3 years. And so when I reached out to her, she randomly came into my space, again, just kind of having this beautiful network that I have now. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, like she feels like tangible to me now. And I sent her a voice note, and she actually met with her team. She's like, I need to try and make this work. She's like, I believe in what you're doing here. And I'm like,
Sarah.
oh, fuck, man.
You're just answering the call.
That's all it is. And you know, when I have coaching clients in my program, this is a conversation we have to keep coming back to, and especially if there's any entrepreneurs listening. It's not this strategy that you can map out. And I am a business strategist. That is my trade. That is my trade. That's what I help people do. But I can't help anyone create a strategy if they don't know how to listen to themselves.
Okay.
Here we are. We're leaders developing other leaders.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to get to their truth and help them get to their truth.
And then it's just a matter of, now that you know yourself and you know what you're about and you know what you want, I just have framework that you just need to click into place now, and everything that you ever create will make sense for the rest of time.
Amazing.
But it's because people without having that deeply rooted connection to themselves,
Right.
the panic sets in. If I don't do this, or I saw someone do this, or I saw a social media post saying that I'm supposed to launch this way or whatever it is,
Oh God.
we get so sideswiped into that, and they think,
Yeah.
am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it wrong?
Yeah.
It's like, never fucking mind.
No.
What anyone else is doing, stay in your lane, stay
Yeah.
in your heart. How does this
Totally.
feel? What does this mean for you?
Totally.
And just keep trusting that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I literally.
You're like amazing. I'm just so grateful
Yes.
for you to just answer the call and come on our show, and for all of our viewers and listeners to be able to have access to you now, and MYM and all of your offerings. Even just for Tiffany and I, like, I'm sitting here, my throat's like losing its mind. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna surrender to the process. Let's go. Let's do this. You may have answered this last kind of question. I know we got to be mindful of time for you and for your beautiful haircut. Who has made the most influence in your life this far?
This far,
Yes.
I would probably, if I put things relative to what has become fundamentally critical for me in my life, it actually would be Africa Brooke. Yeah.
I had that feeling. I was like, I bet you've already answered all of our questions. So
Yeah, she
beautiful.
literally had such a fundamental impact. It was like an awakening, just finding her.
Wow.
And I've expressed that to her. I was like, I've never even coached with you. I've never...
Just her energy.
It was just this knowing that this woman was some sort of divine source code. Like, it was just like, she's unworldly.
Whoa.
And it was just like the wisdom. It was so profound that I was like, I'm okay.
Good.
Like, I'm safe to be me. I'm safe to express myself.
Yeah.
And I will never, because of her work, I will never allow myself to put myself in any type of prison ever again by not speaking my truth. Like, and then there's all this evidence now in front of me now. It's like, this is what happens when I speak my truth.
Yeah.
And it's not just speaking truth about all the creepy shit going on in the world. Like, that's not what I'm referring to when because we kind of get hung up in, truth speaking, right?
Sure.
With everyone's perceptions of the darkness in our world. It's like, no, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you here to do? And are you allowing yourself to be seen? Are you allowing, like, are you blocking yourself from saying something and then, walking around with this lump in your throat the entire time? And it's just like, that's such a non-negotiable thing for me now. And yeah, she's at the root of that for sure. So it would be an honor to have her. So I'm
Yeah.
like, 2024, let's work on that.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's already there.
Yeah.
Visualizing
Manifesting that
it.
shit.
We'll put her information in the show notes. Where can people reach you? Your handle and all the things.
Best place is on the gram.
Okay.
I am Sarah Swain. My
Beautiful.
website's sarahswain.ca. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah, she ain't hiding. She's not hiding.
Yeah.
Amazing. So thank you so much. Also for everybody, if they'd like to go, it's in September the 16th to the 18th. You can get her the tickets through Instagram or her website. You can reach out to Tiffany and I too if you want any more information. We will definitely be there, and just don't miss out on this opportunity. It's going to be it's incredible.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
And people feel it. They're like, I need to be there.
That was exactly it. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're going.
And the next question was going to be, what would be a little piece of golden nugget? There's so many golden nuggets here, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But a piece of advice you could give people who are, on the verge of non-compliance.
Verge of non-compliance. Oh man, there's so much I could say to this group of people because I know they are plentiful right now. I can just feel it. Like there's all of us squawk boxes who don't really hide what we think about anything anymore, and it's like we're growing by the day. I know that there's a lot of people out there who want to be a hello everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for talking outside the door. There's not a podcast going on or anything.
You guys need an on-air flashing sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's totally fine. I know there's a lot of people out there who are starting to question things to the point of feeling like they need to say something. That could be as deep as dark as they want to get into the agenda, or it could just be a frustration about like, why do I feel like I can't say something in this society that's supposed to be all about free speech? So I think, to say to trust yourself is a vague statement, but it really is what it comes down to. I think the fear that we have about moving into something unknown or taking a risk when it comes to just saying something that feels scary, it comes down to us not believing that we can survive what happens.
Right.
Good
The
point.
light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So if you can root yourself, and even if worst case scenario happens, even if you get attacked, or even if you get rejected, or even if the thing that you put out there fails, that's a neutral occurrence until you give it meaning. And so the goal has to be, all right, that happened.
Yeah.
Do I trust myself to recover from that? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why cancel culture was such a horrific thing, is because it played on our insecurity of the fact that we don't trust ourselves. So if all of a sudden we got sideswiped on the internet, it's because we actually didn't think that we would be able to survive it. We didn't trust that we'd be able to come back from it. No different than someone launching a business for the first time. If it fails the first time, can you get back up and do it again? Can you do it
Exactly.
782 more times until it works?
Yeah.
And what if it takes you 10 years?
Yeah.
Won't you be happy in 10 years once it works?
Yeah.
And be happy that you didn't give up?
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially when it lies so close to your
Yeah,
heart.
and that's even like relationships or
Yeah.
people exiting, people's death. It's like people are like, how can I survive this?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all gonna experience it and go through it.
Yeah.
And we're fucking tough as nails, and we're strong.
We don't give ourselves nearly enough
Yeah.
credit.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
true.
So sometimes it's the next best thing to do if someone's on the verge of doing something that feels really scary, is to just do something small to give them a little bit of evidence that they're like, okay, I did the thing. I'm still here. Everything's still okay. Lights in my house are still on. There's still food in my fridge.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like evidence, okay?
Yeah.
Look to other people who have done the thing and
Are
come out on
thriving.
top. Like, look for the evidence.
I love that.
As opposed to, because we're hardwired to look for the worst case scenario.
Oh,
like,
look what happened to this
look
person.
what happened to this person, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, look what happened to the person who did it, and it worked out really, really well.
Yeah. Find more of those.
Find more of those.
That's
Find more
perfect.
evidence.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Wow.
What are you seeking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's
Thank
really
you.
good advice.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking your time to be
My
here.
pleasure, guys. This was fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we will definitely have you on the show again if
Yeah.
you're willing, and I feel like you will.
I'll be back.
And
I'll
Yes.
come back to Van this summer sometime.
Yeah,
too.
come back to Van. We'll come out to see you. All the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, girl.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Goodbye,
lady.
everybody. Have a
Bye.
beautiful day.